Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Adult Tea. Once again, my name is Renee.
Maria. It's Maria.
Do you know your name? No, I'm just kidding. All right, and this week's tea is all about life's little pledges. So we want to start talking about Colin Kaepernick and how he has been blackballed by the NFL. And I know we've talked about it a little bit, but what made me recently think about it was because there is an African American museum that is opening somewhere, and I just forgot. That's why I'm making all these hand motions because I had all in my head. And his jersey was donated to this museum. Now the director of the museum has not decided whether or not it, but you all right over there, Maria? You know we going live. I mean, we live. Oh,
They can't see
uh,
me until I start talking.
oh. Well, sorry. Let me be quiet. But back to oh my gosh. But so the museum director, he has decided not yet whether or not if he would display his jersey. And the man who donated, I have to get his man, I'll put it on the website, who donated, he said, well, I'll wait till later. You know, we shouldn't wait 50 years down the line like we have done for MLK, we've done for we've ours and leaders. We should do it now because he really has implemented so much, and he has been the forefront when it has come to speaking out against police brutality and having that platform and actually using that platform. And it's so crazy because every time people are always like challenging celebrities, saying like, oh, you know, you have the power to do this and that, you know, use your platform for good. In the one moment someone decides to use their platform for good and decides that, okay, you know what, I'm gonna stand up against status quo, you know, basically they get knocked off their top spot. So what's your take on this, Maria?
It's so hard. It's so interesting one because you do hear people say, you have all this influence. Like, I mean, I always use Beyonce, although I don't listen to her that much. You would think I
We
was a
know.
crazy Beyonce fan the way I talk about her. But she has social capital. I mean, it's over 95 million people that follow her on social media. So it's like you do
Right.
have a platform. So if you can influence all of these people on your platform, and I'm talking about the football player now, Colin, do it. Like, to do something new, to something that's about positivity, something that's affecting people that look like us,
Right.
then do it. And so it's crazy that he's even hesitating about putting his jersey up because what he did was just, you don't see it much. So it was amazing, and I, and he lost a lot
He did.
doing that.
He right. He lost so much.
Exactly, he lost a lot from sacrificing. So just like, and I'm not comparing the two because I know it is quite different, the sacrifice which they both made. But you know, Malcolm lost his life, Martin Luther King lost his life. People lost things. I mean, he lost his. You can't play football ever again. Never. Not in this country. I don't know if it counts out of the
Right.
country or what, but never ever again in this country. Why? Because you stood up for something that you believed in. Because black people were literally being slayed in the streets like animals, and you said something about that, and you lost everything. Yes, his jersey should go up in the museum. Yes, kids should know about it. People should know about it. You would think
Right.
everyone does, but maybe they don't. And
Right.
another thing about it, I think people were scared. I mean, when you look at sports, like, come on. This is one of the biggest platforms anywhere. This is not even in this country, but most countries. Now the sports may change, but sports itself is huge.
In
And
America.
so
Right.
I can see those people that were like, we got to get rid of this because
Right.
not this platform, like not this one, because it reaches so many people, like so many different people. Like people that like rap will listen to rap. People that like R&B will listen to R&B. Sports, it reaches across races, across so many different factors that divides people. It's like, oh,
Right.
No.
We can't have that spotlight.
We can have the spotlight. Not here. Not on this
right.
platform. We can't do it.
Because that even opens it up to, because like overseas, they can see, who our
Right.
players are. They
Right.
see our games and everything. Everyone may not be able to hear rap music, may not be able to hear R&B or whatever case that has affected, that black culture has brought around to the world. But everyone can see that basketball player, that football player, that swimmer, that that gymnast. They can see those people. And so the moment they use that platform to be like, hey, we got these issues going on in America,
exactly.
the people are like, oh, no, hold on. We don't have no issues in America.
Exactly.
What you mean race? That was like back in the 60s or whatever.
Exactly.
And it's crazy. It's crazy.
Exactly. So they're scared and, we got to get rid of him. And so they did it. But I think it was just disgusting. And one, it should have kind of been illegal, I think, because it's freedom of speech that he was expressing. Like, anybody else can say anything they want to say, but once a person get up and start speaking about social injustices, oh, you gotta go, player. Like, you gotta go. We'll take everything from you before we let you stand up for something we want to keep, in control and tamed. So it's just like,
right.
It's horrible.
It's sad, but I know that the Seattle Seahawks were thinking about looking at him to give him a position on the team. So I don't know. Hopefully he gets signed to someone. I mean, right now he's a free agent. I think he's always been a free agent. I'm not sure if he's always been signed to a contract or not. But that would be a good look if he does go to the Seattle Seahawks. And I mean, they're notorious for having players who speak their mind, such as Marshawn Lynch. So, hopefully he can still be able to use that platform. But I mean, NFL execs don't want him. It's different if the coaches want him or particular teams. But like we talk about like the head top tier, the head slave master does not want him in that position. So we'll see. We're wishing him all the best. But continue on talking about blackballed celebrities. Monique is part of that list of blackballed celebrities. And I don't know if everybody has watched it or heard it, and we'll insert a clip of it in when we do the final audio or whatever. But Monique was doing a stand-up comedy, and basically she went off. Like, it was supposed to be a joke talking about how, they blackballed her, and she was basically saying what that the people who were being blackballing her, someone had their balls, right? Am I wrong? I know.
Yeah.
And so those specific people she was talking about, because she threw out names, was Oprah, Lee Daniels, and Tyler Perry. Basically just saying, like, y'all have the power to put me in those positions, but y'all chose to follow suit with the white man. So what's your take on it, Maria?
It's not the first time that I've heard. Like, it's not the first time that any of us have heard, I don't think, celebrities being blackballed from Hollywood. One
is a new, right?
And two, it's like, come on now, you just gotta believe it. I mean, we know what happened. We know there are systems put in place. Clearly, we know people think that they are free and think that they have these decisions, but it's just an illusion because she just won an Oscar. Like, you would think you're on the road, mama. Like, you're on the road. No,
right? Nobody can touch you,
right? And I've looked at the stuff leading up to it, and people were saying, it's because she had a lot of press obligations that she wasn't following, that she wasn't making because she was busy, right? Like, I just want to ask her, like, I'm busy. And she had her show on BET at the time, so I can't make it. And her husband wanted her to get paid, and so she was turning down these press obligations or whatever. And it's like, oh, you're not gonna be there? Okay. You missed another one? Okay. So you think you run the show? So you think you're in control of your career? Like, no, I am. And if you can't be where I want you to be when I need you to be, like a slave,
like
I'm just gonna take everything from
like
you.
A slave.
I'm just gonna take everything from you. And so people need to understand. I know people feel every kind of way that they want to feel about the industry. But you have to understand, like anything, everybody has a hierarchy. It doesn't matter. At your job, you have a hierarchy. Like, it's everywhere.
Right.
So why do you think it doesn't exist in the industry? I'm not sure, but it does. And so it's like, if they're helping her, if they say, if Master is telling us, you know, don't give her, you know, she can't eat. Don't give her any food because she can't eat because she didn't do what I told her to do. And you feed her, you're going to have a problem with me. So I don't doubt it. I mean, we all knew. I knew when Empire was coming up that they had tried to get Monique. I didn't know why she didn't end up on the show. But now it's like making sense. Like, right. I said, don't feed her. Like, come on, it's ridiculous.
And I think she would have made a perfect cookie. I mean, Taraji P. Henson, I love everything about her. HBCU graduate, everything. Like, I think she made the show, even the times that I used to watch, because I ain't watch it all the time. I think she made it what it was, because I would have never watched it if Taraji P. Henson wasn't on there. But I think Monique would have added a great touch to it. And it's unfortunate, because like you said, Master said that she can't eat. All the other slaves gotta force her to not eat, and it's sad. And I don't know.
It is. It's crazy, and it's so much talent that gets like swept under the rug, because there are people at the top that I just don't think is great. And I'm about to say, and I don't care how anybody feel that may be out there, but Kevin Hart.
Oh, like, okay. You're not funny. I was about to say. I mean, he ain't. I'm not gonna lie.
He's not. He just do stupid stuff, and it's like,
yeah, you laugh at him. You laugh at him.
I'm laughing at you. I'm not laughing with you. I'm laughing at you, and you're not funny.
And that's horrible. That's horrible to be a comedian and people are laughing at you and they're not laughing with you. I think he has great material. I think he has worked so hard to get where he's at. I remember when I was younger and watching Paper Soldiers and Soul Plane. Like, he worked to get where he's at.
He did.
But even then, I was just like, he funny. You know? But he ain't that worked. He worked to get where he's at, and you can never deny that. You can never take that away. But to, like, if I had to compare him to a great, compare him to Eddie Murphy, if I had to compare even if I had to compare him to Chris Rock, who's funnier? I'm gonna give it to Chris Rock. Chris Rock actually funny. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. We'll see what new material Kevin Hart comes out with. I mean, he's just.
We will see, you know. We will just have to see, because, and it makes you think about that. But like you said, he did work. He did put in the work. But it's like, how much of your effort got you to where you are, as opposed to someone saying, okay.
Right, because a lot of people put in work. A lot of people did what they needed to do and did not get their proper dues, or they did not get their proper respect. So it is interesting to, like, yeah, it's very interesting. So I don't know, but like you said, the industry has a tendency to always try to blackball people. That's even like with Nina Simone when she started back in the day, when she started to make her music more about civil rights of people and fighting back. And I'm trying to think a specific song where it was power charge, like, we need to make a change. It also it even makes me think of, like, you know, the whole Illuminati conspiracy behind Marvin Gaye and his untimely death. It's just like, it's so crazy, you know, after he has what's the name of that album? Oh my gosh, what's going on it? I'm trying to think of the name of the album. I could just remember seeing that music itself. It's just like, man, you know, and then he dies. Like, it's so crazy how throughout time we've had all these prolific athletes, prolific singers, anything, producers, songwriters, whatever the case they may be, to stand up and go against the status quo or go against who pays them. Then they are met with all types of hostility. They're placed on a black burner. So I don't know. It's sad, and I really wish, because what makes me really think about that is because now with have you heard of Lil Uzi Vert?
Lil Uzi, I've heard his name
with the dreads and stuff. Lil Uzi Vert, and
he's the one that sing that something gotta swing. You sing that song? I don't know these kids.
I don't know who that is. No, it's Lil Uzi Vert, and then what's the other little
I've
one
seen
name?
his face before, for sure.
But you know the Broccoli song too.
Okay, I know that song.
Hey, little mama, would you, whoever, whatever that dude's name is, I don't know they're kids, so I have no idea what their names are.
Right.
But anyways, so the music that they put out, people are like, it's trash, it's hot garbage, and people are like going at these kids because even like with Lil Uzi Vert, I guess he had a whole little ensemble where he had a choker on, some little girl's shirt with a purse and everything. Yeah, okay, so now you know what I'm talking about. But people are so upset because they just are like, y'all making hip hop look bad. You making it look like being a black boy is bad. Like it's so much that they're doing wrong. So hate and leave them alone. They're just kids. They just trying to make their money. No. But I mean, all good money ain't good, It is, and it is so sad. And it's just like, even if you say, oh, y'all need to make a change, still within themselves, I would feel bad because I don't know, partially they are right. Being who they are is making them make a better living for themselves.
But are you who you are? Like, let's stop.
They're not who they are, but I mean, the industry is clearly showing and growing more and more to this day to show that you cannot be who you are.
No, you can't. You need to be
you can't. Because that's even like with Chance the Rapper. I mean, I know he hasn't signed to anyone, but I don't know. It's just something about his
music is different. He's different too.
He is different, but I'm like, how did he get where he's at? When you have so many people who want to do the same thing that he has done, not be signed to anyone.
All of those people.
What made you so special? Like, I'm curious. Because I want to say the same for my favorite artists, to be like, man, I wish they'd speak out more. Or even like with Janelle Monáe. If you ever listen to Janelle Monáe's music and all her albums, like what was the Archandroid? My brain is off. But that is like one of my favorite albums from her. That was released like back in I want to say 2012. It was a long time ago. But even then, I feel like the music content and like the message that she was putting forth in that song, it was so different, and it was so, like, it really made you think. And it's just like, but it never got the notoriety as it should have compared to a lot of other albums. Like, Janelle Monáe is very famous now, but with that album itself, it should have jet set her into someone totally different and someone with so much status. But it did not. It did not, and it's unfortunate. But I want to say it's the Archandroid. But that's like one of my favorite albums from Janelle Monáe. But I don't know. It's like, I don't like what those boys are doing. I wish they would just dress normal and that one boy take the beads out his head. But
I don't think it's them. I hate the track. I know people feel really different about hip hop, but I hate the track that hip hop is on. I mean, we talk about the people that they assassinate. They assassinate their character. Some they really assassinate. But we talk about those people that do, speak out. And when you think about hip hop and the birth of hip hop, like, it was about giving voice to the voiceless. It was about speaking out about things that were happening in our community that people were turning a blind eye to. Now, what the hell is it about? Money, drugs, feminizing men, black men.
Right.
Like, it's freaking ridiculous. I don't think those kids that were that boy, whoever he is, Lil Uzi, whatever.
I'm trying to think of the other one.
Like a woman was dressing like a woman before he became a star. I don't think he was doing that. There's nothing anybody can say to me to make me believe like he was doing that.
And that's my other thing too. Like, they showed, like, there are old pictures of them. They did not dress like that, and it's just like, I can understand if they went into it always looking like this. But they didn't. It wasn't until they hit big, it just started to become crazy. Like with Young Thug. Like, he done got out of control with it too. It's just like, it wasn't until they got to where they needed to be. That's when. And that's my whole thing about, I'm not even going to dive into that. But anyways, like back to what you said. They didn't do this from the beginning. So what made you change from when you first started to now? You sold out.
If you don't do what I say, you won't eat. basically. And to them,
Right.
money means more than their soul, I'm guessing. Some people will do anything for money.
Most
And
definitely
they
money
might be
means
one of those
everything.
people.
So money is hard to come by. I mean, I totally sometimes I get like that. Going back onto our title of the show, Adults Pledges. I mean, a life. I said adults pledges, life's pledges, because I feel like life is a good. I did not join a divine non-organization. Um, but sometimes I think like, man, should I? Because life be hazing me. Like I be going through a lot. I be feeling like, oh, maybe I should just be like so and so, and do some illegitimate job, and maybe I'll reach the pinnacle that I want to in life. But someone said it once. They said, oh my gosh, dang, I had it in my head. It was something like, how much something about your soul and how much you would pay for your soul, but it's so simple, and I can't even think of how to say it now. But you know what I'm talking about? It's like
I don't
something
know.
about your soul. It's something about like the word. How much would you pay? Or it's a Bible. It's a Bible verse. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I
I
can't even
don't
think
know
right
it.
now. It goes, people probably looking like, oh my gosh, she's crazy right now. I'm not even gonna worry about it. But it talks about you selling out. Like what's more important? Your soul and who you are as a person, or all the riches that you can gain. So
I just
I
think
don't.
it's like the means never justifies the end. Well, it can, but it doesn't always. And so it's like if you want to be successful, you can be successful. You do not necessarily have to literally sell your soul to get there. And some people, I mean, you basically do. And then you really end up being more depressed and unhappy than you
You
let
then
on. Some of these
right.
freaking celebrities know they are having the worst time of their life. They're super depressed. That's why most of them, not all of them, are either like alcoholics or they're doing drugs or whatever. I hate to say it, but under the sheets, it's true. And then you talk about it in your music because you are feeling that way truly. It's
Right.
not a freaking, oh, I'm just rapping. No, you're not. Like you feel this
Right.
way, but you have to put on this perception that everything is amazing. You have to. Why? Because if you don't, you won't eat. That's why. But seriously, I think it's sad. But life does pleasure you. But you just have to. I'm not gonna say it's easy because it's not always easy to get up and move on from something. But
Right.
it's like, what part? How much of yourself are you willing to give up? Like you literally have to ask yourself that. Like it may be hard. You may seriously be struggling, whether that's financially, emotionally, or whatever. And then you sit down and you really think like, how much of myself am I willing to give up? Like if somebody came up to you, and I'm asking you this right now, Renee, it was
Oh.
like, here, I'll pay off all your debt. I'll pay it all off, and I'll give you 2 mil on top of that. But
Ooh.
you need to come live in with me and do whatever I tell you to when I tell you to. What would you do?
I don't know. Cause Lord, I'm thinking about them student loans. I'm just playing. Man, I always wonder that because, like, especially recently, I say in the past two months or so, I have dealt with a great deal of financial issues, and that's because, like, I mean, I had to pay my tuition this last semester. It was a lot. It was a lot more than what I expected and what had ever has happened to me before. And I don't know, if somebody came to me at a time like this, I just may take that winning ticket and just go
I'm
ahead and
disgusted. For the rest of your life.
I know, no. I mean, when you say for the rest of my life and then doing whatever they
Okay, 10 years. 10 years.
I don't know. That is such a hard question because, like, that's even with me, how I got to Indiana. And I don't want to say that I'm a slave to the state of Indiana, but I will say that, like, I was accepted here to teach, and I was offered a $30,000 scholarship. And I had to stay within the 2 years that I'm working to get my master's degree. 3 years after that, or 2 years after that, I think it's 2 years after that, I have to stay in the state of Indiana. Or if I don't stay in the state of Indiana and teach, then I will owe $30,000 back. So sometimes I think, like, man, I don't think I ever put myself into a situation like this, because at times I get like, I want to get out of Indiana. I don't want to live here anymore. I want to, just go somewhere else. But then I'm always in the back of my mind, like, man, I sure don't want to pay that $30,000 back. Right. So I'm looking at it like that. Like, man, I'm, not to say that I'm a slave to the system, or that I do not like what I do and that I have not enjoyed my time being here. I just wish, sometimes I wish I had that freedom, because all my family and my friends live in Missouri. I wish I had that freedom to just be like, hey, I think I'm going to move back to Missouri and stay there for a while, just to kind of get my mind together, especially at like the time right now where things have been so hectic for me, and it's been hard for me to make decisions on, like, off the top of my head. It's been rough. Trying to be an adult right now has been extremely rough. So if somebody came to me and gave me a deal like that and said 10 years, I would say no. I would say no. Given what I've gone through and what I've experienced, and just wanting to be free, and the ultimate goal for everyone is the pursuit of happiness. So I don't think that would make me happy, truly. To be at the whims of someone else for the rest of my life, that would make me happy. I know after 2 years, I'd be on, like, a getaway train, or I'd be hiding the hell out somewhere in a remote island. So I don't have to, be at the whims to whoever this person is. So as sadly and as badly as I may need that money, I will have to respectfully decline. So
it's crazy. It's crazy because some people would do it. And it's different. Things change, I mean, it changes when the money is sitting, like, right there in front of you, and you're looking at it, and you can see it, and you can touch it, and you can feel it, and it's like, you said 10 years, right?
Okay. Like, at least let me hold $1.
Right. I know people say they wouldn't do it, but then when it comes, things change. But I don't think I can.
Things do change. I know. That's why I'm like, even now, like, I don't know. I think about it like that sometimes. Like, man, they got me in on $30,000, and then the fact that, like, my last semester, I ended up having to pay out of pocket. So, I mean, granted, I needed the money to, like, for housing and for, like, get my, a number of things, but to get myself situated in the state of Indiana, because I don't know where people get off this whole idea that if you move to another state, it's just gonna be so easy and you're not gonna have to pay for a lot of things. Moving to another state is costly, and if you've ever done your taxes, that's a large reason why they have that type of stuff on your taxes, because it is costly to move somewhere else, especially if you don't know where to stay. You just don't know the way and how things function. It's gonna cost a little money to kind of get your stuff on your feet. So that is one thing I learned about moving here. And so, yeah, like I said, I was given $30,000, but I had to use some of that money to pay my to get my life together. And then I had to pay my last semester, and that was tough. So it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy.
Life pledges you. If you're in school, high school, middle school, college, grad school, you are a pledge. You are pledging that sorority, fraternity, or whatever school you're going to.
Of life, okay? Of life
in general. People get pledged on their job by their bosses, by coworkers.
Yes.
People afraid to say something to, or don't want to say anything to, because we're in that sunken place. I'm just anyone that's seen Get Out. But it's so many things, there's so many other factors, and it's like, how do you deal with it?
Right.
You make it through. You think some things to yourself, but you make it through.
But you do. you make it through and you weigh all your options, and you never let someone tell you who you are, define who you are. And that's one thing I'm having to learn for myself, because I've had a few issues on my job as well where I've been told something about myself, and I know for a fact of who I am and where I've gone, what I've been through and where I'm at now. A lot of people look at it as, oh, you're young and you're inexperienced. Don't let anyone think, oh, just because you're at this age right now that you're inexperienced. Some of the most greatest philosophers were not old when they were known for their creations. They were young. They were like in their 20s. So age discrimination is real. Mm-hmm. People discriminate on you if you're too old, and they discriminate on you if you're too young. But at the end of the day, do what you got to do to survive. Mm-hmm. And don't let anyone ever try to knock you off your spot. Try your hardest to fight for yourself. And then if you can't fight for yourself anymore and they have truly won, then you let them win. But there at some other point, in some other aspect, in a different way, race, you will win. And you just have to keep that in mind, because I got to keep that in mind.
And you win. And you win. And it's, go ahead, finish your thought.
What you about to say? If you win some?
No,
I'm just saying.
I was gonna say you win anyway, because when we put ourselves in a position that is mentally draining, that is mentally unhealthy, and I could sit here and I can argue with you all day about this and about that, and you know, I can be upset, be mad, be angry, or I can just walk away and protect my mental health. I can leave the situation that is causing me so much stress and misery, and I win.
And I'm glad you said that,
you lost a great talent, period.
Right. But I like what you said about mental health. It is so important that as young adults, you guys, we take care of our mental health. It is so important because it's so easily tampered with. And when it comes to breakups, it comes to job losses, it comes to financial issues. We're dealt with a lot of things that we're not used to dealing with, because maybe we've always had someone to take care of us, or even if we haven't had someone to take care of us, being young, people are more susceptible to be nice to you. So as you get older, people ain't so nice no more. You in the real world now. So it hurts almost, because you have to find a way, and you have to make your way. You got to make a way out of no way sometimes. And that does a lot of things to your mental health. Just stay grounded. Drink a lot of water. If your spirit into those spirits, whatever it may be, whether it's Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, if you live in the spiritual realm world, whatever that is, let that guide you and let that lead you, because not all bad things, because like I was watching something about the children of God, some little documentary that was on Netflix. No, don't do that. No, I'm just playing. But don't. No, it wasn't like, it was like a cult. It was like a Christian cult. It had nothing to do with like actually being a child of God. It was like they were saying that it was okay to have sex with your child.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I think it's still on Netflix, but it's called Children of God. It was crazy. I watched it too long ago. But yeah, find something to make you relax, do yoga, whatever the case may be. So, but all right. But just continue on talking about life and all its ways of pledging us. Getting on to finance, we want to talk about credit scores. And just how, and I know we talked about it before, but just going more in depth and talking about how you can increase your credit score, how you may be able to repair your credit score if you make, if you get a few bad remarks on there, or whatever the case may be. So, Maria, you want to go first?
One thing that's like super important, because I recently had a cousin ask me about improving her credit score, which is important. Like, we live in America. And credit is almost just as valuable as cash, in a way. Because I mean, if you have the cash, you can buy it. If you have a whole lot of cash and a low credit score, you can still buy it. If you don't have cash, but your credit score is up there where it needs to be, you can still buy it, because people are more likely to give you money, whatever it may be, and not only give you money, but you pay it back at a lower interest rate, which is like incredible.
Right.
Incredible. But anyway, I think the first thing that people should do is check your credit score. Like actually check it. Check your statements and make sure your reports are accurate.
Are
And if you
accurate,
see anything
right?
on there, any accounts on there that are like, I didn't do this, like I didn't make this purchase, I didn't buy a car. Like I know one time, I don't remember which one of those things it was, but they were trying to tell me that I had an auto loan. I was like, no, I don't. I'm like, what the hell? What are you talking about? You trying to hate me? You trying to pledge me? But this ain't gonna happen today. So you have to get on there. You have to dispute those things. Most of the time, it's just lack of knowledge, really, why people's scores are still so low. Not
Right.
knowing what to do. So you want to make sure you get on there and check it. Dispute anything that may be accurate. Heck, if you don't even remember the account, like you don't know for sure it's not, and you don't know for sure it is, still dispute it. Okay.
Exactly.
Let them do the
No,
investigation.
seriously though,
Let
even
them
if
find
it,
out.
or even if like if you paid something off and you like,
Right.
hey, take this off, take it off, get that off
Right.
of there, because they ain't doing
Right.
that. It's not doing you any justice by staying on there at all.
It's not.
Like, it ain't making nothing better. Call those people and get that off, or even if you're and like you said, a lot of it is a lack of knowledge and a lack of just willing to go out there and do stuff. Because
To
even
do it
like,
for
let's say
yourself.
you got
Yeah.
late payment. Let's say you got late payment on your credit card. You can talk to your creditors and let them know, like, hey, I know I'm gonna be late, but take this late payment off. If I pay in full, you don't even have to say you pay in full. I'm gonna pay it now. Could you please make sure that doesn't put in derogatory marks on there, and they'll do it for you. Now they'd be more willing to do it for you if you pay off your entire credit card, but maybe it's too high. So maybe you say, oh, I'll pay a third. I'll pay 1/4. Or I'll just pay what's necessary to pay, or a big enough amount, larger than the minimum. Then that's good for them. They just want they just want their money. That's
Trust me,
it.
that's
That's
all they
what they
want.
just want their
They
money.
want their money.
So do not yeah, they just want their money. So don't fall into the whims, because it's a big game. It's a big game. Your FICO score, which is your credit score, is basically just your ACT of life. So you had to take the SAT, the ACT when you graduated from high school, and that depict whether or not what school you would go to. Not necessarily, because you can get into any school with any school college, which any score, but that's the same thing with your credit score. Some credit scores guarantee certain things. Some credit scores, you just might be able to get that brand new house. You just never know. So you just have to be cautious. You have to stay aware. Like you said, dispute with your creditors. Make sure you're paying things on time. And if you don't pay things on time, give them a phone call and say, hey, I can't pay it. What can we negotiate out? Because living testimony. Don't go out there and just get a credit score because you're you can get, not a credit score, a credit card. Don't just go out there and get a credit card just for the hell of it. Like, no. Right. Don't make that mistake. Like I said, I made that mistake. And I was like, oh, I got a credit card at JCPenney. I'm going to get a credit card at Amazon. And it just got out of control. It got out of control. And the reason why that's not important, a lot of people don't talk about why it's not. Well, a lot of people didn't talk to me about it. But the reason why you don't do that is, one, because you have 2 credit line inquiries out there, which it's negative on your account too, and it does not come off after 2 years. Then the second thing, I just lost my train of thought. Oh my gosh,
it's fine. I can say my second thing. So maybe it'll make you think of your second thing.
Okay.
But secondly, for the people that have, I'm sorry if you hear people talking in the background. That's my cousin. Sexy Chocolate is what I call him. And my other cousin. I'm doing a show. Oh God. Come here. He wants YouTube to see him. What's that? Come on, don't be afraid. Well, you talking like you want to be in the show. But anyway. The second thing to do is if you do have things in collection, because adulting is not easy. Life happens. Right. Life pledges you, and sometimes they get the upper hand. You want to make sure that you get those collections either paid off or you want to settle them. You want to do something, You don't just want them there sitting, because it shows
Right.
that, yeah, I spent your money and I don't care. Like, yeah, I owe
Right.
you and I don't care about it.
Right.
So what do you do? But you know what? Something that I learned that I need to actually go fact check. Because someone was saying that after so many years, that the debt itself is supposed to expire. But if you do not go on there and dispute it, then they'll stay on there. But let me go look that up real quick.
Yeah, that's true for certain things, especially like for medical bills.
Okay.
Certain people will they'll just give you a grace, but you do have to dispute it because it will still show up. Because like I said, that's happened to me before. I had to get an anesthesia for just my toe opening up, and that was like over $1,000 just to get the medication to numb me. That was it. It was so much money, and because of and then waiting in the waiting room. Yeah, medical bills are ridiculous. So if you got, well, now I have insurance. Back then I was young, I didn't have insurance, and something bad happened to me, and it was just my toe. But having stitches and the anesthesia, it was just so much money for no reason at all. And but they end up just letting it go, and that's all. I just had to dispute it.
And I looked it up, and it said each state has laws, but it's usually 4 to 6 years. So if you haven't paid off a collection within 4 to 6 years, and that creditor has not tried to sue you or anything like that, hopefully no one's getting sued.
Right.
And it's expired, and you just need to go and dispute that and have that taken off of your credit history, your credit report.
Yeah.
So did you?
In the state of Missouri, it's probably like 6 years because that happened when I was 18, and so, yeah. So they probably just let up. But I remember now with my credit score. I was talking about the credit cards. Why you shouldn't not get like 5, 6, 7 credit cards just for the hell of it. One, because like I was saying, with credit inquiries, there's too many credit inquiries that doesn't come off your credit score until like 2 years or whatever. That's not something you can just dispute and talk about like, oh, well, I didn't do this. You have to back up a lot of stuff. So it's just not even necessary to apply for all that stuff at once. Credit history is important because, okay, so I had 3 cards and then I had got them cut. Well, then they gave me a mark because it was a short period of time which I had the credit score, which I had the credit cards, and it's just like, dang, man, like, are you serious? So that's why, like, because you just never know. It's just, you don't want too much of anything, and if you have too many credit cards, it's the same thing. Like, it's too hard to keep up with. And so if you want to go and cut that credit off, then it's just like, now you just get a mark, and then you have to like actually keep those cards active because they want to know that you have revolving credit and stuff like that.
Right. But another thing about that, because I want to talk about the credit cards really quickly, because some people do use credit cards to improve their credit score, but they're usually like secured credit cards. What that means is you've taken your own money, you've given it to a bank, you deposit it, and they will give you a credit card. Okay, and you will only be able to spend as much as you deposited. But but you're still paying. So even though you gave them your money, you're still, when you swipe that card, you're still making payments every month, okay?
Right.
They're holding on to your money though, because just in case, and this is why this is good for people that need to improve their credit score, because just in case one day you decide, oh, it's 300, I'm just let that go. Well, we're just going to take this 300 out of the 500 you deposited and give your $200 back, and your credit score, of course, is not going to improve at that point because you was like, forget it. But a secured credit card. So secured credit cards work good for people that do not have a lot of self-discipline. I mean, you're spending your own money, so it's not someone else's money, so you're not like balling all out with it.
Right.
And it's money that you've already deposited just in case you do not pay back that money. But another thing with the credit cards, I have about 3 credit cards. All cash back, because if it's not a cash back card, there's really no point in me.
It's pointless. It's pointless.
But Renee brought up, you have to keep your credit cards active. And for the longest time, I thought, well, surely I need to spend on every card, every month. But I realized that's not the case. So like I have 3 cards, and whatever your combination of money is, however much, like say if you got this card and it's 10,000 and it's 500 on this one and it's 6,000 or whatever it may be, you just need to spin off one of those cards. Because when they're looking at your overall, how much you have overall, and making sure you're only spending about 30% of your overall. So, I mean, people get excited when they get a credit card and they have thousands of dollars on it. But you don't spend thousands of dollars. You don't even spend
$1,000. Yeah, that's the big chunk that I missed out. They called it credit utilization. Don't use all that. You don't even want to spend half. Spend about, they say ideally you want to only spend about 35%. But if you do need to, 50% is still fine. You're not damaging anything at 50%. But when you're at 100% and for long periods of time where you're looking at 98, 88, in that range, it takes an effect on your credit.
Yeah, it does.
Effect on your FICO score.
It does. So try to keep it 30, 35 to be on the safe side, because they be looking. They be learning. They be hazing. No, I'm sorry.
They do be hazing. They be hazing you. Oh my God. They haze you. They'll put you in the trap. Just don't fall into it. Please, my beautiful black people, don't fall into the trap. And for anybody out there who's watching, not just necessarily trying to eliminate on one race, but just basically saying, because, I mean, black people, we have the highest spending capital in the United States of America, but we are also one of the poorest, and we, are the least wealthiest. So because of that, we need to be more educated on how to spend our money and how to use a lot. And it's rough. It's rough. It's not easy. And I have my hiccups, so I can't sit here and act like I'm just Miss Perfect when it comes to money management. But as I most definitely want to share the wealth with anyone out there who's willing to listen.
Right.
For my troubles, because I have lots of them. So
exactly. And like Renee said, your age, the age of your credit, that affects your credit score. So sometimes you just can't avoid it. Like if you've only had a credit card for 6 months, you just can't avoid it at that point. Like they're taking off points for that. Right. But other things that you want to do, if you have bills, because some people do not even have credit cards. But if you have a phone bill, if you have a cable bill, if you have a light bill, water bill, whatever, you want to make sure that you're paying your bills on time, because that really affects your credit score.
Right.
Like, man, her bills are always late. Like, this money is not guaranteed. You're not paying back. You know, it's your promise when we signed. I mean, things happen. Life happens. Like, life happens. Right. And I can't pay you. But another thing Renee said, if I know I can't pay you on the 15th, why I'm going to sit there and wait until the 16th, 17th when you getting ready to cut off my lights and my water and be like, come on, can we work something out? Like, hell no. You need to be trying to work something out when you know you can't. Like, it's coming up.
Right.
Like, call them in advance. Because like she said, most of them, all of them, just want the money. And so it's like, if you can work out.
I'm about to say, ain't no most. It's all them. All of they. I'm AA. Let me not even try to curse. All of them want their money. Just give it to them. Give it to them.
But most of them will fix a plan. Even people that have cable plans, internet, all kind of plans, you can call them and make, even though you're on another plan, look, I need to make some modifications. I need to talk to you, and I need you to work with me personally, individually. Right. What I want. And most of them, all of them will usually do it. It's not a problem.
You got to negotiate. You do have to negotiate.
You got to fight for yourself. You have to negotiate.
Now, I haven't mastered the art of negotiating for cable bills, but I know people who do it. And I'm like, give me your tips, because I just can't get it down. So I think I've generated an idea about something. We'll see if it works. I'm going to test it out.
I think I have learned a lot from Matthew on a negotiation side of everything. Okay? Everything. You know what? It made me think about something. I don't know where we are. But I went to Memphis this weekend. And when I went to pick up my car, they didn't have any cars. And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't have any cars? Like, I made this reservation a week ago. You should have a car. You know, I'm coming in at 1. You should have a car. So by the time I finished talking to this man, I get a car, free upgrade, 20% off, and a full tank of gas, and I can return the car on E. Yo,
go negotiate that. Yes.
I need it all. Okay, you do the same thing with your credit debt, whatever that may be. It counts. People will settle. Okay, and another thing we've talked about on here. Go ahead.
That's even like with my cause I have been prepaid since I've been 16 because I was that was the only way I was gonna get a phone. It was no like, oh, we bought you this phone. It was like, you want a phone, you buy your phone. So I got a prepaid line. I had been on that prepaid line for forever. So then my sister, she started working at Verizon and she was looking to get a bonus. And I said, you know what? I'll sign up for a plan for you. It was ridiculous. I was paying like $120 a month. And it was at one point I couldn't even keep up with it. And so I just let the little bill go or whatever. And so it built up to a large amount. It was about like $400 and some for my last bill. But I was just like, man, I'm like, I ain't playing with these folks because it's just too much. It was just too much money. That was my whole purpose of not getting on the contract, because I'm like, I get everything I need. We're paying just about $40 to $50 a month on some little prepaid line. The only downfall about having a prepaid phone is that if I want the latest phone, I have to go out there and seek a deal and to buy it myself. So I mean, I got a little plug for the phone, so there ain't no worries. No worries. I mean, it's still a large amount. Like, I'm still paying like $300, $400 for the phone, but nonetheless, I'm still getting at least something that's, up to par for the lowdown. But anyways, going back to what I was talking about. My Verizon wireless bill was end up like $4 something, but I ended up being able to negotiate and pay it. Like, now it's down to like $200 or whatever. I don't know. I'm giving a rough estimate, but I was able to cut it in half because I'm like, look, I can't pay this. And so, can y'all do something? Can we work out a deal? And so they cut it out to $200, and all I gotta do is pay $10 every paycheck, and then there we are. So you can negotiate. You can, you make a mistake, you have a downfall. Don't think that you are at the end of your ropes and there is nothing that you can do. So,
and use resources. Because that's what we do. I mean, we life experiences, so we're not going to tell you talk about anything we haven't experienced ourselves in some way.
Right.
But there are so many resources on the internet. There's so many websites out there that offers free improving your credit courses or classes, or webinars is what they call them, I guess, or web classes.
Right.
So it's like, if you're really thinking about it, if you're really saying in your mind as an adult, I want to improve my credit, you need to literally make a plan to do it, and then you need to do it.
Right.
Like, because we can say anything, but until you start taking actions, taking the steps to get there, to literally do it, cricket, nothing is going to happen.
Right. Exactly. So. All right. Any lasting words, Maria?
Not really. Just, people stay motivated. I know it's hard. It gets harder. The summer is coming. That should be motivating to some people.
Right.
To get out there and turn up.
That's motivation for me. Woo. Summer is almost here.
Right. Just in regards to everything we talked about blackmailing and people selling themselves, selling their soul, selling their beliefs, whatever. Just remember who you are. Like, at the end of the day, wherever you're doing, like, just stop and think about how this make you feel. And it should always be happy or satisfying or something in the realm of that. If not, you need to reevaluate what you're doing.
Right. I couldn't agree more. All right, I ain't going to add too much because y'all know I get to talking. So, this is the end of our show. Please do not forget to check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Adult Tea. Don't forget to like our page on Facebook at facebook.com/theadulttea. And please do not forget to check out our website at adulttea.com. There you can check out new and old episodes. Also, you can see what we have posted, like with our revamp contest that nobody participated in, but it's still up there. Just in case y'all want to revamp something, we got y'all.
Revamp that credit score.
Exactly. And then also, please, if you want to send us tea, do not forget to send us tea at thetea@adulttea.com. That's thetea@adulttea.com. So that is all for this week. Once again, I am Renee.
Maria.
All right. Bye, Maria.